Chapter. 45.
What's that? I can change these.
Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, everybody. Tonight we have a little bit of a special treat in that we have Dr. Lester Siegel joining us in accompaniment, throwing it back a couple generations after we've seen Dr. Mosteler also with us recently. We start on page 128, How Good It Is to Be With Each Other, Hinei Ma Tov. Hinei Ma Tov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. We read on the bottom of page 124 together. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. And we turn back to page 120 for our candlelighting blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehatlik ner להדליק נר של שבת.
On page 123, for those who are able, we rise for our Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho me'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu זיכרון למעשי בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
L'chaim, please be seated. We read on page 127. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Page 130, Psalm 95, Lechu Neranena.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya litzur yisheinu. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya litzur yisheinu. Nikadma panav bithoda bizmirot nariya lo, ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim, asher beyado mechkerei מודים לו. אשר לא הים והוא עשהו, ביבשת ידיו יצרו, כי הוא אלוהינו ואנחנו אמר איתו וצאן ידו.
On page 138, we have the pinnacle of Kabbalat Shabbat, Lecha Dodi. Please sing with me.
לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך תשמיענו, אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, שם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו בני אלחכים, מקור הברכה בראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Please rise as we greet Shabbat HaMalkah.
בואי ושלום עטרת מלכה, בשמחה ובצהול לתוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We read on the bottom of page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. On the opposite page, our Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחייכון בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמם מאמרו Amen.
For those who are able, we rise for our baruch.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam ba'ed. Le'olam ba'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai.
Please be seated. On page 148, we read together in the English, Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. On the next page.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu Shebeirach uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha venismach medivrei toratecha uvemitzvotecha leolam ba'ed ki chayenu be'orech yameinu ubahem nehgeh yomam balayla ve'achavatcha al tasir mimenu leolamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol vavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים לחיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Our song of redemption, Mi Chamocha, can be found on page 158. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osei belem, Nora tehilot osei belem, Adonai meluch leolam ba'ed. Malchutecha ra'u banecha mokei hayam libnei Moshe uMiriam se'eli anu ve'amru se'eli anu ve'amru Adonai meluch leolam ba'ed. Dai 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 On 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Behamiteinu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Me'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Me'hamideinu shomreinu On 163, we are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. V'shameru on the opposite. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat le'torotam berit olam beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti le'olam le'olam ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz u'bayom hashmi Shabbat ma'i nafash. For those who are able, we rise for our tefillah on page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor mehanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekone Hakol, Bezocher Chasei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah, atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim atah Rav leHoshia, Morit atal, Mechalkel Chaim bechesed, Mechayei Metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. If it's your tradition, please be seated. We read together on page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Betom beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for private meditation. יהיו רצון עם רפי, יהיו רצון עם רפי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, be acceptable before you. O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, me'al kol Yisrael, me'imeru, me'imeru. It's at this time that we think of those in our community in need of healing, body or spirit. Congregation is thinking specifically of the following people: Linda Applebaum, Margaret Bell, Chase Callahan, Harold Seitlin, Wes Chapman, Deborah Chargois, Orit Cohen, Edward Goldberg, Jeffrey Goldman, Sandra Goldman, Miriam Goldstein, Fran Curry Harrington, Josie Hatfield, Emily Held, Evelyn Held, Donald Himmel, Corey Kessler, Zane Mondlik, Malka Bat Rachel, Arvin Robinson, Susan Schumann, David Siegel, Leslie Simon, Liz Slive, Christy St. Charles, Don St. Charles, Brenda Weinstein, and Edgar Zimmerman. If you are thinking of a loved one you'd like to mention, please feel free to do so. For all those mentioned and all those still in our hearts, on page 371, we sing our Shebeirach. Shebeirach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi Shebeirach imoteinu mekor habracha la'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Last night, many of us experienced a storm that knocked out our power. This occurred for me while Alex, my wife, was out for the evening, ushering a play at Red Mountain Theater, and Jesse, my son, was down for the night. So I sat outside for a little, enjoying the cool air after the rain, but after a gorgeous sunset, all was dark. I hoped that the power would return quickly, as it always has while we've lived in this house, but it did not. I realized after sitting and wondering for a little what I was going to do, that an opportunity had presented itself, one subtler than I could immediately pick up. My phone was on the verge of death, and thus I couldn't use it for anything. I thought about reading, but the very limited candlelight that I had would have caused my eyes to strain. So what could I do but sit, think, and listen? I wasn't in search of any particular answer, but questions flooded my mind nonetheless. Historically, I've used tefillot, our prayer services, for this purpose, sitting and listening, but my job has made that a little difficult these days. Everybody has a different reason for attending services, but last night's experience made me recall the importance of listening and perhaps receiving something unexpected. So I present the song Listen. If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen, listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen, listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all your might. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes and listen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto le'olam va'ed. Listen, listen to our God. Listen, listen to our God. On that note, for those who are able, we wish for a better world united under one God, and we rise on page 586 for our Aleinu. Aleinu l'shameach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וקור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. We remember those whose yortzites fell in the last week. We remember Max C. Burke, Joseph E. Berman, Rosalie B. Black, Herman Cohen, Beatrice Cohen, Melba Terrell Epsman, Ida Shapiro Feinberg, Shirley Fink, Tilly Davidson Fisher, Corinne Erdrich Fox, Gordon Freeman, Sid S. Friedman, David Friedman, Joe Hagedorn, Jimmy Gary Harp, Gladys Hiller, Jerome Corman, Marcia Berman Kraselski, Henry Louie, Leopold Loeb, Marie Barbet Majot, Bessie Levinson Marcus, Helen Needle, Seaman Allman Newfield, Dolly Ann Newmark, Ida K. Ofson, Lorraine Phillips, Peter Rathmel, Goldie G. Russakoff, Jane Schreibman, Dora Silberman, Eva Ray Solomon, Florence G. Sonnabend, Ben S. Wheel, and Edwin M. Weller. Our heartfelt condolences also on the recent passing of Marissa Apolinsky, mother of Jonathan Levine and Adam Levine, and Howard Schultz, brother Ricky Coslin, and uncle of Mike Coslin and Susan Coslin. If you are thinking of someone else this evening, please feel free to rise and share a name. And if not, we rise as one holy community to say our Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chilutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'tadar v'tale v'talal shemei d'kusha, brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'meromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, our service on page 625 with Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'it nasa b'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו להחמירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי בצור חמלי tzara, v'hunisi umanos li, v'nat hosi b'yom ekra, b'yado afkid ruchi, v'et yishan b'ayira, v'im ruchi gemiati, Adonai li belo ira. Good Shabbos, everyone.